Morning, Anambra Show, Thursday episode. This morning, we are going to look at breaking the silence, confronting domestic violence. We know that in recent times, the society has been bedeviled of domestic violence in our various families. And on this show this morning, we'd like to remind us once again what domestic violence is all about, what brings about it, and of course the ways to curb it or to bring it to the barest minimum. My name is Nonya Wokoye, welcoming you to the show. And my colleague this morning is...
James. Good morning and welcome.
All right, we have in the studio this morning as our guest. Our guest this morning is none other than a founder, Integrated Anti-Human Trafficking and Community Development Initiative, Intercom Africa, Hope Nkiruka Okoye. Welcome to the studio, ma.
Thank you. Good morning.
All right. Now, let's begin this show by trying to let people understand what domestic violence is and, of course, what causes it.
When we talk about domestic violence, we have to start with the word domestic. The word domestic, we look at what is domestic relationship. When you talk about domestic, you are talking about people that have a relationship within a family, within a domestic environment. It might be a married couple. It might be father, mother, that's husband, wife, father, mother, children. It could be people that live together. It could even be people that cohabit. They are not married, but they are into either romantic or intimate relationship. They are living. There might even be people who are not blood related, but they are sharing an apartment. They are living in the same, maybe in the same house or in the same compound. Not really compound, but in the same, they share something in common within a house. So it could be even people that, as a schoolmate or a colleague in the office, but you share, you reside in one room, you stay together, you eat together, so anything that has to do with people that in that close living together, you begin to look at it from the domestic. So any violence that is being perpetrated by anybody among these people is seen as domestic violence. It could be a father against a child. It could be a mother against a child. It could be a mother against a father. That's wife against husband. It could be husband against wife. It could be a brother against sister. It could be a sister against brother. So this is, and it could be like a physical violence, that is a physical abuse that has to do with physical, like hitting or anything that can create physical impact, physical injury. It could also be a psychological, emotional, something that has to do with verbal, something that has to do with action that you may not hit somebody, you may not talk, but the things you do can cause emotional and psychological pain to that person. It could even be like starving somebody or denying somebody some rights. It could be a wife denying, a husband denying, it could be a father denying children. It has to do with people who share a relationship. So that's from that point we look at what domestic violence is. So at that point now you begin to look at sometimes wife battery, where husband is beating the wife. It could be one thing to be called domestic violence. It could be a brother beating the sisters. And this is, most of the time, this is how a lot of husbands that beat their wife, that is how it starts. And if parents did not watch out and caution and train their sons to respect their sisters and see them as because they are born male and this one born female, they begin to respect and know that they have their differences in strength since they are different sex, and know that they also have their strengths and weaknesses, that knowing what is peculiar with women, what is peculiar with men, teaching the young men not to be, you know, to learn how to control their anger and their emotions, not always be in a hurry to beat, and training the young girl not to always, because we found out that sometimes the men will want to exercise by strength, the female will want to use their mouth to, you know, fight back. But if the young man learn how to respect the sister and not to be in a hurry to beat that sister, and they also respect the mother in the house, not to beat the mother, you find out when they go outside, they use the same eyes to see any female outside. That no matter what a woman did to him, he will not be in a hurry to beat. But when the family are even encouraging any little thing, they will make the boy to know that this one is a girl, and they support. So when they start doing it, is practice makes perfect. They get used to it. When they get used to beating, and even their colleagues in the office, they will forget. You see that they will lose it, and they beat. And you'll be surprised that even no matter who you are and your status or how old you are, it's because even as a professor, the husband can always beat her up anytime. They can do any manner of things. So domestic violence has to do with, sometimes they even do what we call economic violence. It's also part of the domestic
sexual violence
violence
also there?
Yes, sexual violence is part of it. Could, like I said, it could be physical. Then sexual violence is there. Even that one is like something, I don't know where that one is beginning to come out now, because you find out that brothers are raping their sisters. Sisters are also raping their young brothers. Fathers are defiling their own daughters and raping them. There is a lot of perversion and
house helps.
Abnormal. That one is when you talk about house help. That one is that one is a different thing altogether, because that one is like a normal business. And the worst thing is that when a young child who lives with a family, as they will always call them house help, complains to the madam of the house that Oga is sexually abusing her, the woman will even turn against the girl and be accusing her of seducing the husband, or will want to silence that she will never tell anybody. We have had a series of cases. The one that even that caused us pain, that was this 9-year girl child, that the husband, the first day he raped this child, the girl cried, the wife ran out, and came out, the husband ran away. And she saw this girl bleeding. She asked what happened. She told her what happened. She only quarreled with the husband and asked the girl to clean the blood. And every day they continued until this girl was like, she contracted disease and this. I don't want to go into it. It's a long story. We know even the one that a medical doctor, the wife will go out, this man will always come back. Even if this girl was bathing, he will go and open a hole in the bathroom and be watching. When the woman goes out, she will enter the bathroom and he will abuse her inside the bathroom, in the kitchen, everywhere, as far as that woman is not available. And even when the woman is a nurse, even when they found out, they still were covering up. A lot of children are dying in silence. There is a lot of...
Okay, what do you think are the causes?
Even this battering, because even this same battering that we are talking about, you see a lot of children, they will use hot iron, they will use hot water, they will use... There is a girl that even died out of this domestic violence, the woman she was living with at Mpo then. His neighbors that called, but the guy has already died. The woman quickly went to the girl's mother and told them that she was, that is out of purging that she died. But the people, we investigated, but at a point, because we don't have enough resources to do the autopsy and all those stuff and everything, they quickly, you know, cornered the girl's brother and gave them money, and they shied away from that case. And we didn't have enough money, logistics to pursue it. That was before this present administration came
on board.
Yes, because I know if it's this present administration, Soludo administration under with the Ministry of Men Affairs, if you've been able, that would have been another. And do you know that case? The child was actually from Ifitedun. That even if not for any other thing, I know that the Honorable Commissioner Obinabo, because of her relationship with Ifitedun people, she would have fought to the end. But we lost that case.
Okay, now what, you know, I asked two questions, the causes of these things, you know, because whatever happens, there are things that bring about them.
The cause is enormous. It's enormous. We just talk the ones we can easily lay our hands on. You have to start with one. Look at the situation, economic situation in Nigeria. A lot of people are hungry and frustrated. But that is not just the beginning, but I'm just telling you, it's one. There is a transfer of aggression. People are just like even the one we rushed the other day.
Could be mental health issues.
That's what
so somebody will be saying, like what you said, it's not really all that mental, but you know, people are frustrated. People cannot see any hope. It's like people are just, they have come to that they cannot just help it. But all these things is also based that there is no fear of God. There is a lot of, when people fear God, no matter the situation, it will, you won't get to that point. Because what I'm saying is, the other day, the Honorable Commissioner had to send for intervention with, when the the governor called her attention. The baby that was born at Otuocha, a young girl gave birth on Sunday and threw the child.
The one that later died.
That later died. When the girl was asked, she said she's 20. Why? She said that there is nobody to help her. She doesn't have. And this, when looking at it, no matter what, nothing would justify that her action. But the underlying truth is still there. Nobody to help her. She, even with that pregnancy, she went to do farm work for the woman that gave her temporary accommodation on Friday, and by Saturday by Sunday she gave birth. And even after that, she has not even. It's even when we took her that we're even trying to get hot tea and get food for her to even eat. Do you understand? In as much as she's facing the law, because she will soon be arraigned. They are trying to finalize. You mentioned about mental this thing. The police want to do all possible investigation. Finally, she's still under detention. So what are we talking about? Frustration, economic hardship. People are poor. A man that is working, maybe he's even being paid the minimum wage. That minimum wage will end up in his transportation to office. So from that money, he's supposed to pay house rent. From that money, he's supposed to feed the family. He's supposed to send the children to school. Are you understanding me? So when you look at all these things, maybe a child will not say, Daddy, my teacher say, if I don't come with my school fees today, that they will send me back. And the husband, the father might be so angry because he cannot even find where to get. Everybody is ahead. So if the child is not careful, the man will even beat the child like out of anger. What do you want me to do? I say I don't have money. If they want, let them send you back. Do you understand? All these things could inform all this. But there are some that you wouldn't even know why. But we begin to look at, if it's about fathers defiling incest, defiling their children, you find out that number one, we'll start with no fear of God, loss of moral values, and you now
self-control,
and you now come to, it's not just self-control aspect now, it's what people are exposing themselves to. Some of them are beginning to expose themselves to all this pornography, where they even use children to, you know, when these traffic children that they are now being subjected to using them for pornography, trafficking for pornography purpose. So when they finish watching all these things, they will become, you know, sometimes they want to practice it. If they cannot have access to their to people's children, they use their own, because they have lost the moral values and fear of God. They won't even know that, remember that this one. And sometimes some of them are most people are being exposed to drugs. So sometimes, or even alcohol. So sometimes when they are not in total control of their, but because it's something they have nurtured, you will now see that they will do it without. Now, a lot of people are doing all manner of things. Some people will say it's for ritual purpose. We don't even know which one you will hold hand to say that this is why this thing is happening. So we found out that watching pornography keeps them sexually alerted. And the whole, everything is like, this society is like everything is sexualized. If nothing, if you are doing anything and you didn't bring in the sexuality or sexual attraction aspect of it, you are not succeeding. So you now find out, and it's like this generation, they know nothing than you use big phone, you have sex, boyfriend, girlfriend, mistress, whatever, baby mama, papa mama, whatever. Do you understand? It's like sex. Nobody cares, and it makes them, when they don't have access to their normal, for people that maybe they are married. In fact, my sister, the truth is I don't even know where we will start and where we will end. But there is a lot of factors behind all this domestic violence. People don't respect each other, and this mental male-female inequality, as in the sense that as a woman you have limited rights.
Okay, ma. When
yes,
you talk about
some of these things are part of the thing that even our culture also promotes. All these things. And the worst thing is that when you begin to intervene in cases of domestic violence, you find out that families and everything will now start emotionally blackmailing the woman who is actually the victim until she dies in that marriage.
Okay.
Okay, ma. In domestic, when we talk about domestic violence, we're always looking at the women being the victim. Do you think that men are also victims of domestic violence?
Yes, if you remember when I was trying to explain domestic, I mentioned maybe the wife. We have recorded a lot of men being. The other day there was a man that came to the office and was talking about the wife being a lesbian. Not just that she's being a lesbian. There's a lot of things that she's doing to the man. And the man has proofs and evidence. But because, I think it's because this present commissioner has encouraged people to speak out. Men are coming. The other day we lost one huge man out of domestic violence. And if you see the short wife, if you see the short woman that at the end, you know, ended the life of this man, to be honest with you, because of this male superiority, a lot of men are dying in silence too, because all these things start when a young boy had pains. Parents will not allow him to express
you don't speak of
emotion, that's cry out, or you know, and you know, crying and tears is God gave it to human being to relieve. Do you understand? It's emotional healing. When you cry, you relieve a lot of pains. That's why a lot of men are dying. You know, they buckle up things. They will not let release it. So, if they have made this young boy to know that he is a man, he shouldn't cry, he shouldn't do this. There's a lot of things that way he says it's like it will be shameful to. How can you tell people? How can you even say it among your peers that your wife is beating you? Do you understand?
Yes.
So they will die inside it. You know, there are people that I'm a woman. Does not mean that somebody is a man. I may have a physical strength more than the man. There is a lot of factors. The way we are being brought up, there is a lot of factors that affect our personality. So that because I'm a man does not mean that I must have equal strength or have strength more than a woman. There might be a woman that has strength more than me. That was why when they're looking about giving equal opportunities, you look at people who have the capacity and the ability, not because this person is a man or a woman. So the grooming, and that's why we have to look at grooming if we're looking at solution. The grooming of male children, we have to look at it.
Okay, before we get there, now I think at this point it will be important for us to, look at the warning signs, of abusive relationships, and of course how individuals can recognize these signs and of course, respond to them appropriately.
Sometimes when people will start with, did these people actually do courtship before they get married? And if they did courtship, they will ask, did you not notice that this person is like this? Though some will say that the person actually covered up, pretended to be a good person until finally get married.
Almost time they thought they could change.
But that's the area I'm going. I'm talking of the pretended ones. But there are ones that, because it's in them, like I said, they have started beating their brothers, their sisters. So they have learned how to, they have done it over time. So it's in them. Any little thing the sister will do, they has beaten the person. So when they are into relationship, you see, because we are all human beings, you cannot keep pretending all the time. There might be something that the young lady had done, and some attitude, or even the way he even gives the person food, money for food, or personal things. Do you understand? All these things you will notice.
There are signs.
There are signs you will know. You will know if this one is a very stingy person. You will know, though you are not going into that relationship because you want to waste his money, but there are things that are basic. There are things that should be done. Even though for me, I'm not talking about boyfriend. I'm talking about people who want to marry that courting. There are signs that you will notice. I'm happy there was one good news we took away from the death of Osinachi Nwachukwu, the young lady that was about to get wedded. Either 1 week or two, like weekend before, during that period, that quickly cut off her marriage. And she talked about that this guy, because one thing we notice is that they will beat you and come back and beg. And they will feel so, you will feel it's so, this person is so real, it's so genuine, the person has repented, it has changed. And you as a woman, you are easily being touched, you forgive. It won't take more than 2 days again. They will tell you it's devil. Which kind of devil is that? And these things sometimes start that they start beating them, because that girl actually opened up and said a lot of things.
And somebody that beats you when he
has not married you.
When the thing is too sweet, what will happen when when it gets to a level? Hold on. Okay, we take a very short break here. It's Good Morning Anambra Show, breaking the silence, confronting domestic violence here on ABS television. We take a short break here to feel the pulse of the masses. We'll return after now. Do join us again.
The key way to avoid it is maturity. Most times you see a lady, the lady must always be what she used to be. But as a smart young man or a married couple, you need to avoid a kind of extended argument. That is number one. And as a man, you need to do the needful. You being a man, you need to do the needful to avoid that will lead to lose of temperament, losing anger. You see some people, they overreact to little issues that can be overlooked. So by such, You must always have domestic violence in the house or within workplaces. I believe it's a respect on both sides and understanding and being faithful to each other and having a self-conscious. Once you know that this is bad, this can turn out to be something else. With conscience, that person can even decide to pipe low. Being busy. Once the morning, this person goes to his workplace or shop and everybody busy. All those things can help.
Financial issues, most often in Nigeria, that's what causes domestic violence. Majority of times, financial issues. So now, where there is understanding, to help to boost that. So it's really bad. That's the issue of domestic violence. By beating, throwing wife down from downstairs, stabbing, killing, and all that. Then another one is security measures and government. Government needs to put a strict penalty for such kind of issues, because when you take it to the police station, they'll tell you it's a domestic issue. Before you know it, the case will prolong. No capital punishment. But whereby they come up with, government comes up with a policy, the house to do it, the house to curtail it finally, to help to curtail that. Then the issue of churches, the FDOs, faith-based organizations, need to play their own part. Not all about richness, going to heaven and all that. How to bring your home to be a peaceful home and all that. Then you should like to your children, inculcate it, peaceful homes. With that, I think the society will be a better place for us all.
I think the NGOs are doing a good thing, but then I think the government have a lot to do. Why do I say this? Because when the government is doing enough, they will have so many agents at different locations. There are some people that are suffering domestic violence, but they are not able to assess the government because the government is far from them. But if these agencies can be placed as strategic points where they can lay complaints from the women, the men, the children, and they will address these complaints squarely. So, because it's one thing to lay complaints, it's another thing to address the complaint and do something about it.
I will define it as violence that occurs in the home, probably between a husband, wife, siblings. First of all, is understanding and having a good leadership in the home. As a man, how do you understand your family? How do you understand your wife? As a woman, how do you understand your subordinates, the kids, children, and the maids?
All right, you're welcome back to the studios of Good Morning Anambra Show. We are talking breaking the silence, confronting domestic violence. Okay, we're here in the studios with Ukeri Anekwe has joined us now for continuation on the program, and we have we've been talking with Nkiruka Hope Okoye. Now, before we went on that break, we were saying something about, the warning signs. And of course, the younger one, there's something you were saying that some of them may think that is a part of the love.
Yes.
When I beat you early in a relationship.
Take care about me.
It's not even just early, because of the grooming, they have made women to know that they have to be submissive. And whatever is done is correcting them, that they are always at fault. And so some of them grew up with this mentality that even if the man beats her, is a way of correcting her, is because she ran her mouth or because she misbehaved. And for her, she's not seeing it as a red sign that this person is violent. You just see it, maybe it's part of the love, because there's a lot of things that you cannot even imagine, especially with this generation. There are even some of them that they said that only time, maybe because of when people say sexual orientation, maybe somebody has had the orientation that was sexually violated that by violence. So she now feels that the only way she can enjoy sex is when it's accompanied with violence. Oh, you would the brain so even when she's being raped and tortured in sex relationship, she still sees it as normal. That so there's a lot of strange things that you cannot imagine that's happening, and people are suffering, and in the process a lot of them die. And who still so is this because of this trying to male preference and making the young lady from beginning, she will take up responsibility, she will face everything. The other one is the king. The male is the king and the lord of the house. So everybody gives every attention. They will not even train that one, and that's why we are suffering. Some of them has been pampered. Especially when these only sons, these ones they call only sons. If you see the rate at which they are abusing their other sisters, will take up everything that belongs to the family. Even some of them beat their mother. You know, we are talking about domestic violence. Some of the only child and male children and even female children are beating up their own mother and parents.
I think this can only happen because the family lineage has been broken over the years. Because I didn't mean it was that time. The people from your mother's place will come now for war. Okay, now let's. I don't know. You have any question? Okay, so, it will be thrown to you, Carrie. Now.
Okay, so there are some people who have actually gone through this domestic violence, but they find it very hard to leave the relationship. Now, look at what she talked about. There are some ladies who actually are beaten, and then they find it very hard to, walk away. In that case, how can we help them?
It is usually difficult to assist those people. Thank you very much for the question. It's usually difficult because their orientation, just like she said, started from when they were growing up, that you shouldn't leave your marriage or you shouldn't leave your relationship. In Igbo language, they will say, it depends on the type of odudu foria. Maybe she just woke up in a day, the particular day she met this guy. She was so hungry, there was no food in the house, and he bought a bottle of Fanta and biscuit for her. And that is the odudu ofode. She will never forget that, and she will not want to leave that relationship. Secondly, what type of friends does she keep around her? If you have bad friends I always like, adding Igbo to whatever I'm saying. Currently, what is trending is Solonia Moza. Follow who no rules. Follow who no rules. Now, if your friends are the people who doesn't know the road, so that means you will have nowhere to report your case, and you have nobody to advise you positively. So they will just be, if they are still the type of people that have the phone ordered, they will still continue telling you, very soon he will change. Just go down on your knees, talk to God, and he will change. That is usually the problem. Because if you, as an outsider, wants to intervene by probably taking the person to court or reporting the case somewhere, and you get to the court, and that person is invited as a victim, you say, no, he has changed. Even if the person will appear in court, you say he has changed. No, I'm no longer bothered about the beatings. In fact, I'm withdrawing the case. That means you are very active. Wife. You are a good wife. You that has come to intervene, you are a superhero. At least the person came to court. There are some cases they will just abscond. You won't see them again. So it's always difficult.
Okay, now it's like you want to say something.
There is an experience I want to share based on what she said.
All right.
Just that Saturday morning, I just went to my normal going to church to clean in the morning against for the Sunday worship, and just finished that. Stepped into the market to buy something. Around after 10 to 11 to just go home. I saw a young lady. All her body was blood. Like anybody that sees her pass would turn and be wondering who did this thing to this young lady. And she was about mounting a bike I now say, what happened? Who did this to you? You see her body, dirty, everything, blood, everywhere, red, everywhere. She narrowly escaped death. And she says her husband. Where are you going to? That she's going to, she had 400 naira. That she's going, and she had like 2 kids. That she's going to, what do you call them? Anti-cult. I say, Anti-cult does not handle this type of matter. You don't know who I am, just talk to me. So I now asked her to come down and took her by the side because a lot of attention, a lot of people. So I just took her away from that scene and out and for confidentiality's sake and asked her questions when I said, no, we have to go to CPS. This is within Oka Capital Territory. We have to go to CPS, that is their jurisdiction, that these are people. I didn't go back home. I've not eaten breakfast. I carried the things I bought from the market. We quickly took this thing and went to CPS to go and report. After reporting, they mobilized and we contacted the vigilante of the community where this thing happened, another community within this territory. We went, we arrested the guy, and we brought him to the police station. Do you know, because I didn't have any money with me, when we finished, for me to take her back, I had to give her some food that she will even be, because it's even food that she's supposed to feed the little children that made even the guy to beat her up like that. So I now took her to my house to give her some, because I don't have money, but I have food stuff in the house and to be able to pay the keke. So I took the food stuff and all those things, gave her, and gave her the keke man to go and drop her where she would now go and give her some money. Do you know this thing happened on Saturday, right? By Sunday morning, after Sunday, Monday, we have to go to court if police finalize. Do you know by Monday I was busy washing? That was the time they did sit at home issue was on a high distance. I was trying to wash, do some things. This lady landed, somebody landed in my house. Is this lady. That
it's fine.
Auntie, she has forgiven him. And this is not the first time. Now, if there's a way we can, that they said that she should come and beg me, that it's me now that they
Is it that begging?
Hey, but it truly pained me. I was hungry for the whole day, thinking that there is a lot of things that I cannot just say, but it's really discouraging. But so now, that's why some of the best practices is that for you, especially issue of this domestic violence and even children's cases, you have to get them sign consent notes. They have to sign consent so that
before going to anywhere,
you have to sign consent so that this thing is forward ever and backward never. They will tell you that they want him, they don't want to marry again, they don't this and that they want. At the end, so you will now be the enemy. So we are trading with care now when it comes to domestic violence, except for people that truly want to be, yes, that truly want justice.
All right, now we know that security people handle this issue just like you have said. You know, Eucharia, do you think there is any gap in the way they handle the issues? Do you think there is any gap that needs to be filled? That's in the area of security people handling the case of domestic violence in our society. Any gap that needs to be filled, please?
Yes, there are. Most of the times there are languages when these victims come to report to them, demoralizes them. And you know, one thing in the society is that when you report cases, in fact, if people like sharing their experiences, if you go to police station and report your case, and then the policeman will be asking you, what were you wearing that day? Why did you go there?
If it's a rape case.
If it is a rape case. By the time the person gets back, the person will now share the experience with other people, maybe peers, and tell them this is what happened. And then maybe the mother too will also share their experience with our fellow women. And if such thing happens again, people will not want to go to police station.
To report.
They will just say, if you go there now, the story will spread everywhere.
You are talking of what you are wearing. What of, were you not enjoying it?
Wait, you know, the kind of
It's
questions,
so painful.
embarrassing questions they will ask those people, so they will not want. So I think that there is need for them to be trained more on handling these gender-based violence cases. It's not that you have to be so pathetic, because some people can just frame someone and run to the station to report that so person raped them when it is lie. So they need to know how to address these issues. They need to be trained. Secondly, this issue of bring money for statement paper and pen
and to open file.
And then the next thing is we need money for fuel to go and make arrest. If they have vehicle, you bring money for fuel.
Mobilize,
if you don't have a vehicle, that means you, the victim, you still hire a keke to carry them to where they make the arrest. My sister. So all these things, you know, people find it, and you must go to the police station before the case is taken on. If you don't go there, who will take it to the court? You can't just run from your house straight to the court. So that's the problem we are having with them. That's the challenge, and I think there is need for it to be addressed. When there is this collaboration amongst all these law enforcement agencies, it will assist in addressing some of these issues. I know that finances might be difficult, but I know that there are some philanthropists who will want to support such a move if they are approached.
Okay, so I have this short story, then it comes to the question. When I was much younger, I can remember when I was outside, and then this man, they were not married. This man came back from work, the wife was outside, and the man...
They were not married,
yeah.
but you say wife.
Say the wife.
Sorry, the woman was outside, and then the man called her inside, and in the split of, I think it was not even up to 5 minutes, the woman came back, her fourth teeth was literally out, she was bleeding, and all this happened, and then I really wanted to help, but I was very young, and my mother was like, I should not tell it to anybody. Now, in a case where you've actually witnessed domestic violence, who can you call? For instance, in the Western country, there is a number like 911, you can reach out and report, but in this Nigeria and in Anambra, when I see somebody being violated, and then I'm not in a position
to help.
Yes. What can I do to, call people to help them out?
Okay. There are numbers to be called. I know that Ministry of Women Affairs, they have a hotline. I know that Ntasi have a hotline that is for rape cases and maybe where there is a physical injury. I also remember that the police released a number too for their, unfortunately I don't have some of these numbers. Then we have our own number from my own end, my organization. And then,
probably you give it to us before. Okay. You say it on air before we. Or you may say it now.
Okay. 0800 400 4444. 0800 400 4444. This is a toll-free line. When you're calling this line, no, your money will still remain intact because we pay for it annually. So when you call us, we will direct you on the next thing to do. Even if there is nobody there to respond, we will transfer the case immediately to a response team so that those people will now take action on that. And then I know that Ministry of Women Affairs, they do have another hotline, which I hope will also share. Civil Defense Corps, they have too. So whenever these people comes around, you demand for such number for them, from them and share with the public. So they can report to this, FIDA too, they can report this, the case to these numbers. Or if there is an office closer, you can just walk in and report the case. But there is one thing that this social media has done for us that is very fine, yeah. This issue of yes, taking clip, but please don't get the face of the victim. The victim can turn their back, just snap it, report immediately. You can tweet so that others will retweet. Share it on Facebook, share it on your WhatsApp status, and people will start, retweeting, resharing, and all that. Yeah. So that
okay, quickly. I think, Hope, you should share the numbers you have for the benefit of people watching. That in case you have someone that is being abused and you don't know what to do, here are the numbers to call. All right.
Okay. For the Ministry of Women Affairs, you can easily go to the ministry's Facebook.
Okay.
Ministry of Women Affairs and Social Welfare. You can also look also search Actuality with Ethiopian.
Okay.
From there, you can always drop your your report, or you can also call me. I'm being in as much as I'm the executive director of Intercom Africa. I'm actually assisting the Honorable Commissioner Ethiopian on sexual and gender-based violence. So I'm the head of the unit. We are the ones that respond. We are the ones that intervene and do all this. So I can equally give out my phone number, so you can also call. And my number is 080 36 66 1325. 080 36 66 1325 is also my WhatsApp number. So if it's the one you want to share video, you want to send message, you snap picture and send, and we can always pick it there. But there's one thing I want to say. From the experience, we are practical people. I said earlier, if you are reporting this, in as much as it's good, but if it's something that you also have the privilege of approaching the victim, that would be good, trying to encourage them. And some of them, when you were talking, the question was like, do they truly want to be helped? But this time we are not looking at, do they truly want to be helped? With this, some of these, when we see videos like this, what we do is to truly intervene.
Life first.
The Honorable Commissioner is that we try rescue the woman first, arrest the perpetrator, and counsel and make sure she gets medical attention and all those stuff. Then we'll now talk about going to. It's a crime. It's the VAP law of Anambra State. The woman might be helpless. This is the truth. They might not know that there are people who are there to help. So when they see there are people who are there to help, but we also try to encourage, because the one that is painful is that having put all the energy, the time, the resources, at the end
of the day,
they want to shy away. It's always discouraging.
Okay, I think at this point, there's something you said earlier about support system. Now, people that have survived domestic violence, do we have any specific resources and support system available for them, and how can they access them?
Currently, it depends on organizations, but I did think that there is this VAP commission in the state, because the VAP law stated that there should be a commission.
A commission.
Yes, and then if the commission is functional, there should be some amount of money meant for these victims. And now individually, yes, the commission should be handling that money. They should be taking care of these victims. But now that the commission is not there yet, the Ministry of Women Affairs, is handling some of these cases, taking care of these victims. But other organizations, too, individual NGOs that are into these gender-based violence issues, some of them do handle people. But the essence of this referral, this collaboration, is if I don't have the funding now, and probably it is a case that was not referred to the ministry, and you note that your organization can handle such case, but you don't have that finance for empowerment, you can refer that person to another organization who has fund so that they can assist the victim. If there is none, you can now refer them to Ministry of Women.
Can you also put in words that can help for easy access?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, you can do that.
We do. You may not believe it. Sometimes even the ministry refer cases to FIDA. There are some. It is all about or looking at the nature of the case. If it's the one you refer to NAPTIP, if it's the one you refer to civil defense, the one TASI is actually the sexual assault referral center where they assess medical. But actually, that TASI is supposed to be a crisis center for victims of violence as described by the VAP law. But he found out that when it was established, it was called Sexual Assault Referral Center. So sometimes he found out that even when domestic violence victims go there, sometimes maybe because of misunderstanding, they turn them back. That is only meant for rape and sexual and defilement, everything that has to do with sexual incidences. Or even if they attend to them and give them that first aid, but they hardly give them medical reports that will help in this thing. So it will now warrant that the person going to assess paying, because that SAC is free. It's free, everything is free. So, but the person will now be forced to go to where he will pay to access services. So these are issues we are trying to also look at and to resolve. But if it has to do with rape and defilement, or because the INTASI means no to all sexual assault incidences, that is the INTASI. It's one of the former commissioner for health that gave that acronym.
All right. Now, I don't know if there is any possibility of ending domestic violence inside. You know, how we can foster a culture of empathy and accountability to help break the cycle of domestic violence. Any possibility?
We have to start with our men. Yes, we have to start with our men, our boys. And you know,
and our families,
men, boys, you know, everything starts from the family. When mothers, I saw something that Barrister Nkoli posted on her this. She said, if every male child is raised properly, the society will be okay. And I saw this boy, this little girl trying to play basketball. She didn't succeed, and then the little brother assisted her. Yeah. So I was like, sometimes we leave the main thing we're supposed to face and face the other side. When we bring these men and boys together, especially from the home, it's not always telling them that he's the man of the house. The man of the house. When you bring them together, tell them that this is how it should be. And if they understand, I don't think all these cases of rape and all that will come in. And then we have a lot to do. This issue of drug, everything has to start from the family, because most of them that even perpetrate these crimes do that under the influence of drug. They don't even know what they are doing. And after that, it will now dawn on them. Exactly, and they will start regretting it. So we have a lot to do. Because of money and the society too, the churches, this issue of title, this title taking, and these houses, we have a lot to do. When the is it Ministry of Housing or which one? The Capital Development Authority, I don't know the ones that give authority for building houses. The moment they say we should stop building upstairs, that every building should be the highest one-story building, and they give a certain approval for houses, this quest for wealth will reduce. And then, yes, when you get such money, how many buildings will you build? How many skyscrapers? A lot of people, even if you build it, nobody will stay upstairs and be watching people downstairs and all that. Even if they have, it will be limited to a certain extent. I remember when I was in Cross River State, you won't see all these type of buildings you see in the southeast. In Calabar, it's not there. And then this issue of chieftaincy title, even in the church, they will reserve certain seats for some people. and even label those seats. That is for chief, this, chief, that.
Does it have any
crime? Yes, it has linkage. This crime, these drugs, they push it. They traffic drugs to make this money.
Okay, so they
try to cut off parts of human being to make their rituals, to make money, to maintain that status.
How is it linked to the...
He's trying to say things that can, bring about people being living normal life.
Okay.
Yes, living normal life. And that will reduce
the pressure
that we are passing through.
You said something about one being pressurized and beating the child that's asked for school fees or something like that. I think...
So all these things will reduce certain things. I was in a church one day and they were trying to raise funds. And this little boy just got up to say, I'm supporting my mom with a sum of 5,000 naira from the band section. And you know what the priest did? This is the type of youths we want. So what do you think will happen to the other youths in the church? They will start looking for money. And probably they will go to the wrong person instead of the person that knows road. Follow knows road. You will now go and ask that person, do you know how they used to get this money? You tell her, just get a girl, impregnate her, when she's born, you sell the child. Get the girl, cut off her breast, bring her eyeballs, and I will send it to where you will use it and make money. This is where all this...
Okay, I think our time is fast spent. They are warning us to round off, but actually, it's getting more interesting. But I'm sorry, we can't go any further than this. We can make a return some other time. To continue from where we stopped.
It's just like my parting word.
Okay, just a second.
Yeah, it's just like my parting word.
Okay.
Looking at the reality of the trying to get justice and intervention on this domestic, I think we truly need to ask everybody, the family, the community, everybody to help, because they are the people when these victims, they will now be the one pressurizing and trying to cover up and trying to emotional blackmail the woman. But if everybody join hands to condemn domestic violence, I think it will go a long way.
Right. Okay. That's interesting to note. Let all hands be on deck. Would like to appreciate you so much, Eukaria Anekwe, State Coordinator, Child Protection Network, Anambra State. Thank you for being here.
Thank you for having me.
All right. Hope Nkiruka Okoye is the founder, Integrated Anti-Human Trafficking and Community Development Initiative, Intercom Africa. Thank you so much, Ma.
Thank you, Ma.
Thank you.
And from my colleague?
Okay, so my last words. Character is who you are when nobody's watching. And it will take me and you to make Nigeria great. So let's put effort in whatever we are doing. I am Emedion James, and so nice to be here.
All right, my name is Nonye Okoye. Thank you so much for being a part of the show. Until some other time, it's a goodbye.